Yeah, very much, Don Howe says Borussia Dortmund, but it doesn't always work out like that, as we both know.
That's very true, Ian. Hamburg are improving. Their results over the last few games have shown that they're getting it together. They've got the new coach in from Bayern, Egon Cordes, and he's having an effect. He's getting them to play again. It's a typical Friday night in Germany. Tumbling down with rain, but a full house, very exciting, a super pitch. When you get a pitch like this, all the rain does is help to make it into a better game, because it becomes a passing surface. The ball shoots across the surface. If you're online, it's absolutely very, very accurate.
I have to say this surface here is a good deal better than some of the mud heaps we have around in Britain at the moment, but of course these pitches are only played on once every 2 weeks. There are no reserve games in the Bundesliga. Vass there with the header early on for Hamburg. Hamburg, who are in some danger down at the bottom. They've got to start producing some points soon, otherwise they're going to be down in that dreaded bottom four. They're just 2 points above it at the moment, and Cordes here, the coach, in his first home match, would love a victory tonight against the team who are joint top. Free kick for Hamburg. You can see men up with their umbrellas on the far side, and the way the athletics track is glistening gives you a key to how much rain has fallen. The number 5 for Hamburg, this is Frank Rohrer, who was capped 42 times by the old East Germany when they were in existence. 2 is Böder, tackled by Lush.
I always think, Ian, the quality of German football are the front 2 players. And Hamburg have got a player that's played against England now, 4 or 5 times in the last few years for Poland. A lot of people remember him, Jan Furtok, together with the Brazilian Nando. So they've got 2 super front players.
Arminek with the free kick. No problems at all for that Dortmund defence. They've got a lot of men back. They certainly won't want to be giving away anything early. Helmer there shadowing Böder on that far side. Helmer, very much the key man in that defence for Borussia Dortmund. He's in the German squad, due to play Italy in a few days' time. But Hamburg here with an early corner. And it's going to be Eck, the former Bayern Munich man, who will try the left-footed in-swinger. Not a bad idea to try and make it skid on this surface. And towards the far post, but the handling of young Stefan Klos, the 20-year-old who's had such a marvellous first full season, impeccable.
Yes, he'll be very pleased to get his hands on that, because it is... and these balls, these Adidas balls, they do slip and slide around. It'll come into his hands, and it's good for the goalkeeper if he gets his hands on the ball and the ball sticks. Makes him feel a lot more confident in his handling.
Kutowski, one of many players in the Borussia Dortmund side who are having quite excellent seasons. But here's Vass. This is the man who's on loan from Bologna, the number 8, and really being clattered around there. The referee playing a good advantage, though. Well, it's predictably frenetic and pretty muscular in the opening stages, often the way of things. It's Flemming Poulsen who's the meat in that sandwich.
Yes, but it's nice to see them get up. You know, normally in German football, Ian, they do tend to overdo it when they get knocked over. It's nice to see them take a knock, get up and get on with the game.
And once more, a free kick. The referee has been very, very busy and allows it to be taken a few yards ahead of where the offence was committed. Doesn't matter much. The game's got the flow. Poulsen is robbed by the experienced Beersdorfer. Here's Helmer. Every player getting about 0.001 of a second on the ball at the moment.
It's very much like an English game. The opening 10 minutes of an English game were always played at this pace.
But the pace of the start, I think, Dom, indicative of just how much is at stake for both sides here.
Sure, they've set the stall out. Obviously, within the dressing room, they said before they get out on the pitch, watch this first 15 minutes, no mistakes, keep the ball in the opponent's half.
It really is a cracking run that Borussia Dortmund have been having 17 games. It goes back to September the 28th when they lost 3-0 to Eintracht Frankfurt. My goodness me, it's nearly 6 months now.
Yeah, well, here again, I mean, they've got a well-organised team. I mean, the Swiss coach, Omar Hitzfeld, he's done a super job there. And their two front strikers, absolutely exceptional. Stefan Schapchazar and Poulsen. I mean, their running off the ball is absolutely superb.
They've got a confident look about them, that's for sure, Borussia Dortmund, as we've been seeing on Sky Sports. But can Hamburg put a dent in that? Eck with the break on the far side. Can he make the cross towel? Well away by Mikhail Schultz. Schultz has sometimes been regarded as the hatchet man in that Dortmund defence, but he's had an improved season, and indeed it's been called up by Bertie Vogts for national training over the last 2 weeks.
He's a very powerful defender, Ian, and he's not dirty.
Boda with the chance, and well, it was a yard or so wide, and I think to be fair to Close, he had it covered.
Well, this is typical of German football. Every time there's a chance, anywhere around that box, they get their shot in. And he's just a little bit off the target, pulled it with his right foot, kind of left of the goal. But we'll see plenty of those long shots, and obviously, in these conditions, very effective.
So, Jörg Boda with the corner kick. Smoke from a firecracker over there behind the goal. Hamburg putting on some early pressure here, and Close again did well.
Did the right thing there, he just helped it on. He knew he couldn't get two hands on the ball, so with his reach, he just got up there with his right arm and pushed it on. It's good goalkeeping for a young goalkeeper.
He's taken over as the #1 this year from Teddy De Beer, who has to make do with a place on the substitutes bench for every game. He just can't get Close out of the team. Hamburg with a free kick. Early frenetic pressure from the side who've been sliding down the German charts faster than one of yesterday's hit records of late. And once again, Close selects to punch, and he made the punch work for him. Got a bit of distance on it, but Hamburg pushing forward again, dropping in there. Spürl was forward, and Dortmund having to live a bit dangerously, but here they are on the counter. Flemming Poulsen, the Danish international. Lush. Away by the Polish international, Mataszek. But Lush has it again, and he's a really good workman-like player. Doesn't get much of the glamour, Lush. Does a lot of good work down the right-hand side, as I'm sure you'll see again tonight. And there's Hamburg's depressing run. 9 games without a win. Indeed, they've only scored 2 goals in their last 7. Reinhardt, that's a very wicked-looking cross, and the goalkeeper had to show some acrobatics there. Bar. Well, I don't know, Don. Hamburg, 9 without a win, and Borussia Dortmund, 17 without a defeat.
Yeah, that's right. Obviously, that's why the new coach is there. He'll be working hard to get some kind of organisation within the ranks. Try and get the confidence in the club going again.
Hamburg, of course, in the past have had their European glories. They were Cup Winners' Cup victors in 1977, and they won the Champions Cup in 1983, as well as reaching a final which they lost to Nottingham Forest. Boda. And Vast there, trying his luck. Could have been something. Now then, Flemming Poulsen, and down he goes by a Storfer's challenge, but did Poulsen make rather a lot of this? What do you think, Don? Is this a...
Well, the defender could have crossed him, Ian. As he's taking the ball towards the box, the defender goes across him, misses the ball, really, if anything, you would say it's a kind of an obstruction. I wouldn't say there was fantastic contact there.
Well, we've seen Flemming Poulsen last week involved in a controversial, in quotes, diving incident. Tony Woodcock, watching back in the studio, what did you make of that?
Well, I know Flemming very well. I played a number of years, well, we played together a number of years at FC Cologne, and he's not the type of player to actually sort of go lying down on the floor when he's not actually injured. We've seen him fall in the penalty box a few times, which is quite all right in Germany, but I think he's got a knock there, and he's hurt a little bit.
Thanks, Tony. In fact, so hurt, in fact, that the coach, Ottmar Hitzfeld, feeling it necessary to come onto the pitch himself just to check his condition. But no question there, even if the referee said that was a foul, of it being a penalty, it was outside the box.
He runs at defenders, Ian. I mean, the same with Stefan Chapiazar. I mean, these lads, when they get the ball, I mean, there's no hanging about. They know exactly what they're about. And they'll go at that last defender, and they'll knock it by him. And obviously, any collision, there is a question, is it a penalty, isn't it a penalty? But their effectiveness is just that, is their aggression to run at people with the ball.
Hamburg, like most sides in the Bundesliga, playing with a sweeper, 2 markers, a 5-man midfield and 2 strikers. Very much the favoured way of things in Germany. Very frenetic in that midfield still. Hamburg's little early surge of pressure seems to have been quelled. Referee tonight, by the way, there is Hans Fuchs. Here's Helmer again, very much in the international reckoning, and the subject earlier on this season of a £3 million offer from Bayern Munich. And once again we have a player down injured, and I think this time the referee may be producing the card. He seemed to be reaching for his pocket there, and the offender is Frank Roda, the number 5, just getting up, and he indeed does get booked for that challenge on Frank.
Well, without a doubt, that could have been a nasty collision. I mean, he virtually took off kind of a yard away from the tackle, and then obviously, because of the conditions, slid into the Borussia Dortmund number 6, Thomas Frank.
This is the new coach for Hamburg, Egon Corders. He used to be Jupp Heynckes' assistant at Bayern Munich, and when Heynckes lost the job, Corders rather understood that he would take over. That was the understanding, so he thought. Bayern Munich had other ideas, so he was out of a job, and he's landed here at Hamburg, where he's being paid, I'm told, £8,000 a month. Not bad work if you can get it. It's nearly half of what Don Howe's getting paid at Coventry.
Yeah, don't think so.
Now here come Borussia Dortmund pushing forward again, leaving the money matters aside. Koschner here, the man who's taking over from Rummenigge tonight. And Hamburg patch it up.
I think the game's settling, Ian. I think that now they're opening 10 minutes where it was a bit frantic. 1 or 2 players run themselves out of it now, and they're settling down. They'll pass the ball around a little bit. You'll see good running off the ball now, I think.
Certainly at the moment, Borussia Dortmund can't be affording to play for just draws away from home, because they're level on points with Eintracht Frankfurt right at the top. And next week, fascinatingly, mouth-wateringly even, the 2 sides play each other in Dortmund. Free kick to Hamburg. Furtok was the man who went down there. Familiar mustachioed figure, the Polish international Don was talking about earlier on. Here's Boda, trying to weave his way through, but it was too congested a traffic jam. Here's Flemming Poulsen. Kotowski. Good run from him, but wrong weight on the pass.
I think when Hamburg attack, you'll see Jan Vertok in and around that box, Ian. That's where he's good. That's where he's got that sixth sense of knowing where to be at the right time. A goal scorer's sixth sense.
It's Kotowski again, and then Lush from Dortmund trying to retain possession, but losing it there down that left-hand side. And Buda putting it into touch. Still waiting the first goal here. Hamburg 0, Borussia Dortmund 0. Borussia Dortmund, by the way, anybody who had a little flutter on them at the start of the season would have got 25-1 about them winning the championship. And, well, you wouldn't get a quarter of those odds now, I shouldn't think. Probably wouldn't get a 20th of those odds now, come to think of it, knowing the bookies.
Yeah. I mean, they've been outstanding this year. There's no doubt about that. I mean, their football has been exceptional.
And this looks another fluent build-up from them. Reinhardt down this left-hand side. Away by Roda. Dortmund just beginning now to slip into gear, you feel. Here's Helmer bouncing around dangerously in there. And Helmer again. And that's a good save from Bar.
Yeah, the early steam's gone out of the game, and obviously the quality side are now taking over. And they're getting people forward, and they're getting people in and around the box.
And that was the defender coming forward, and Bar, who's only the substitute goalkeeper, the regular Goltz has got a broken finger, and the 22-year-olds come in, and he'll feel good for that save. It's Lush with the corner for Borussia Dortmund. And that might be another one. Seemed to come off a white shirt. Indeed it is. Rain for the moment just eases off. But here's Reinhardt with the cross. It was away by Jürgen Hartmann. 25 minutes gone. And a little squall of pressure from Borussia Dortmund, who took their time certainly to settle here tonight. Coming off that big 3-1 victory over fellow title contenders Kaiserslautern last week. And here's Knut Reinhardt with the long throw-in. Doesn't work. Now Vertok. That's a very good challenge indeed by Kotowski. And back comes Schultz, who ventured forward to resume his man marking of Vertok.
That's right, yes. Well, he broke forward there. He's got the freedom to go where he can, and that's where, you know, this little bit of kind of controversy where they said, you know, he's the hatchet man. He's not the hatchet man at all. He can play.
Away by Helmer for Borussia Dortmund, picked up in the middle of the pitch by Makashik. And then Beiersdorfer back to Boda. Makashik again. This is a good move from Hamburg. They found a bit of space on this right-hand side. Here's the dangerous Vertok. Well, worth a go, I suppose.
Nice move. Some lovely passing on the halfway line. Searching for the forward ball. In the end, they got down the right wing. Vertok came inside on his best foot, his left foot. And obviously, we've said, you know, they do like those long shots, the Germans. I mean, they must do. They spend a lot of time in training. Anything around the D, they let a shot go in.
I think old Vertok's got a bit of a lack of confidence at the moment in front of goal, though. I think he's gone, just looking up the stats here, 9 without a goal.
Yeah.
Another way of looking at that, of course, is he's overdue one. But here's Chapuisat here. Freak bounce. Chapuisat, very dangerous. Goal. Stefan Chapuisat.
Well, I don't know what happened there, but I mean, every defender missed the bounce. A long kick, bounced on. Chapuisat was on it like a flash. Got to the last defender, kidded him, come inside on his right foot. And then he's only got the goalkeeper to beat. And he beats the goalkeeper inside his near post. I think he kidded him on as though he's going to go far post, and then just clips it inside him, inside that near post. and it's home and dry.
Goal scorer's goal, 15th of the season for Chapuisat, and it means he's on his own now, ahead of Fritz Walter for the moment, as the top goal scorer in the Bundesliga. What a season for this man who's been picked up, bargained by really from Bayer Erdingen, and lovely turn to wrong foot the defender. Goal scorer's goal. And Borussia Dortmund, crucially, a one-up. Are they going to extend this unbeaten run to 18 games here tonight?
The goal was well taken. I mean, obviously he got onto it like a flash, but it would be very disappointing for Hamburg, because the ball bounced between about 3 or 4 Hamburg defenders.
Here's Poschner with a very, very good run. Lush. Drops again for Poschner, and Chapuisat trying to get it onto that left foot this time for the cross shot. And just about eased out of it. There he is, Stefan Chapuisat. Well, his dad had a reputation as a real hot-headed tackler who could make Vinnie Jones look a bit of a softie. But Chapuisat is out of a completely different mould.
Let's take after his mother. I mean, he's absolutely super around the box. He puts them away dead easy.
Lush's corner, and the goalkeeper doesn't win it. And what's the referee given here? It's a goal kick, and Bar, I think, will be feeling rather relieved about that, because this is a fairly hapless piece of keeping.
He never got to it, did he? You know, he was reaching for it from a long distance, over the top of 2 forwards and 1 defender, and he never really got anywhere near it. I've got a feeling his eyes were closed at the end of it as well.
I think Hamburg have got a problem as well here, as if they didn't have enough. Beiersdorfer, their experienced captain, it looks like he's picked up an injury, which is going to mean the end of his evening. And he's coming off, and it looks as though they're putting on Schnur, the number 12. Indeed they are. There he is. He's played for them in the Cup this season. He is still officially an amateur. He seems to be settling down towards the left of the midfield. Well, it really does begin to look like a mountainous kind of task for Hamburg now, bereft of confidence, slipping down the table, 1-0 down to a rampant side.
Ian, they've taken over Dortmund, there's no doubt about that. They're completely in control of the game. Hamburg have just got to keep going. They've got to get through this hard patch now, believe in themselves, start playing football again, and believe they can get an equaliser.
You do feel for them a bit. What a side in their position really needs is just one lucky break around the penalty area. Something to happen that might just turn not only the match, but maybe their season as well. The singing is coming from the Dortmund fans, needless to say. Dortmund's free kick. The rain seems to have just eased off a little bit, mercifully. Those people on the open terrace here. Chapuisat again, who we talk about his goal scoring, but we've seen him make a fair few goals as well this season with his left-footed crosses from that far side.
The mark of a good striker is to know if there's someone else in a better position to put it away. And he does have that quality. He knows when to go himself and do the job, and he knows if there's someone square or in a better position when to put them in. It's good awareness, that.
One odd little statistic, by the way, about Chapuisat is when he scored the first goal of the match this season, Borussia Dortmund have never lost. Come to think of it, they don't lose very often anyway, whoever scores the first goal, do they?
It's a little bit like Ian Rush at Liverpool. I think he's got a similar... If he scored, they never lost.
It was an interesting ball aimed towards Poschner, but Hamburg can break away here. They'll have to do it a bit quicker. Armin Eck trying to play the long ball forward. This looks more promising. Good turn here from Vass, and here's Vertok, kind of a chance and a goal for Hamburg out of nothing. That was the break they wanted.
Well, that was a good work goal, Ian. I mean, it was a nice ball up. dropped on the head, he took it down, and then Vas got onto it, worked the ball in the left-hand corner of the box, did the right thing, got it across the 6-yard box. Jan Furtok was on it, and this is where he comes and starts to look a good player. Checks it. One touch to control, second one into the net with his favourite left foot.
Here it is again. Vas did very well here to find him under pressure, and he took that extremely well. It's his first goal in 10 games, Jan Furtok, and it could be so important for Hamburg. It's going to make their new coach, Egon Corders, feel very good indeed about life. Hamburg won, Dortmund won.
Well, that will lift them. I mean, that's just what they wanted. That will make them believe in themselves and perhaps not start to kind of think that Dortmund are like the greatest thing since sliced bread. Now they can get down and perhaps go on and think, well, we're going to get something out of this game.
6 minutes to half-time, and Hamburg have been lifted by that. Vas coming forward again. And now it's Dortmund, who maybe just their feathers have been ruffled a bit by that. Tony Woodcock watching events unfold in the studio in London. Hamburg, well, that was the little break that we were saying they needed.
With the build-up, it's been about 6 or 7 good passing movements and then an excellent finish. It came exactly at the right moment because I was feeling that Dortmund were beginning to take over completely. As I said before the game, yeah, they don't like to close things up at the back, and they kept going forward and they paid for it there a little bit. It's a very interesting game at the moment.
That's really opened things up. There he is, surrounded by cameras and microphones, and wandering around like a caged tiger on the side of the pitch, as they're wont to do in Germany. And Hamburg now have a free kick. Can they get another before half-time? Arminek to take it. And Dortmund with a bit of head tennis get it away, and not very far. Is that offside? It isn't. Furtok can keep it in play. And they may have to watch him now that he's got one. The cross coming in from the substitute, Schnorr dropping around there. Nando was in there. And that was a very good clearance from Helmer. Furtok again, Schnorr trying to win it. And in the end, Kutowski depriving Armin Eck.
What Jan Furtok's got, he's got the quality that he can lose his marker. And he can lose his marker in and around the opponent's box. That's the quality of a top player.
5 minutes of the first half remaining. Still 1-1 here. And we've had another good Bundesliga match here on Sky Sports. Chapuisat. Here's Reinhardt over on that left-hand side. He's got Poulsen in the middle there with his heading ability. And it drifts tantalizingly wide, but the goalkeeper was watching it all the way.
You've gone on about the coaches. I mean, as you know, 1 or 2 coaches in our country have got themselves in trouble with the referee and with the FA. It seems to be part of the entertainment here in Germany, is that the coach kind of up and down the league, up and down the line, giving his instructions, is all part of the job. You know, and the referees don't take any notice. They let them get on with it. They'll let the coach have a chat to the linesman every now and again.
Quite interesting. Would you like to see that introduced in the Football League?
I wouldn't like us to go over the top, but at the same time, I do think that a coach has got a job to do.
And if he feels like wandering around to do it, let him do it. Now then, that one drifting wide. Arminek, who's been quite busy. He had a back injury and had to pass a late fitness test, Arminek. It looked like he was going to be left out yesterday, but he assured the coach, Corders, that he was 100% right for this game. And so the coach said, right, if you say you're right, I'll believe you, and you're in.
Well, the player knows whether he's fit or not, and he also knows whether he can play. You know, he knows what, if he's got a knock, if he's got an injury, whether he can get on with it or not. In the heat of a match, it's very rarely that players feel knocks or bruises. It's only after the game, when obviously the body kind of calms down, then you start to feel your knocks and your stiffness.
Well, the Hamburg fans who've paid their 12 marks or so to stand on the terraces tonight, that's about £4 to you and me, by the way, will feel it's been worth it because they've seen what's become a rarity lately, a Hamburg goal. They only scored in 2 of the last 7 matches, and they have the chance maybe to conjure up something else here. X hovering over it, and he has a very good left foot. Here he is. Wall does its job. Helmer once again with the headed clearance, but Dortmund for the moment just looking a bit ruffled on that one. Flashing past the post. I think it was Hartmann.
They've come right back into it these last 10 minutes. The goal has lifted them.
Yes, there's a different feel now about Hamburg's work. That one was a bit further away than it actually looked from the other camera angle.
Yeah, I think the goalkeeper knew exactly where he was positioned. He knew the shot, the volley was going wide.
And here come Hamburg with another wave of pressure. And that, I think, is going to be a free kick, is it? Well, surprisingly not. Lush. Good turn from him. Wrong foot Schnur. And as he tried to find Poulsen, Poulsen wasn't really reading it. Hamburg really do have an excellent record in this fixture since the Bundesliga started. They've won 16 of the meetings, and Dortmund have only won 2. There have been 6 draws, and Hamburg have had wins like 7-2 and 5-0 and 4-0. But of course this is a different Borussia Dortmund this year. Frank again gets the foot in. Koschner was trying to feed it through. Here's Lush. Oh, Chapuisat there. Good close-up camera on his skills. And the cross comes in, that's going to be offside. It won't count. There was a push in there as well, I think. There's the flag.
It was a nice move. I mean, Chapuisat there he's running off the ball, was absolutely superb. He played a square ball kind of 10 yards outside the box. He then went on a diagonal run into the right wing. They played him in. He started to work it from there and finished up getting a nice crossing.
Well, here it is again. Chapuisat.
Nice little twist and turn to lose the defender. As he comes out the turn, he'll look into the box to see if there's anyone in the box.
Again with Vaas. It's good work from him. And Helmer on the stretch gets it away. Poulsen to pick it up. He certainly looks resurgent these days, Flemming Poulsen. He had a bad start to the season, as indeed did Dortmund as a club. Lush taking his man there on the outside and looking to get the cross in, but good covering back.
It's great box-to-box stuff, this. I mean, there's the ball's going forward so quickly and very accurately as well. Lots of players running off the ball.
And Borussia Dortmund in the, well, what's now injury time, with a throw over on this near side by the corner flag. Chapuisat again can in-swing it onto the left foot, or can he turn and get it onto the right? He can beat you either way around, and the cross is a long and inviting one. And over on that far post, Poulsen goes down and looks hopefully at the referee, but nobody else is really taking a blind bit of notice.
He's very clever, is Chapuisat, Stefan Chapuisat. But he's left-sided, he's left-footed. And I think if they've thought about him, obviously they must have done a little bit of homework before the game. If they keep him on his right foot, he's not so effective, especially out in wide positions.
Well, we've seen Chapuisat creating much indeed for that poetic link, Matthew. Answers to those questions coming up, we hope, in the second half. And Hamburg in their white shirts and red shorts, the home side now attacking the goal to your right, having come back into this match pretty well after Stefan Chapuisat with his 15th goal of the season had put Dortmund ahead. Jan Furtok with the equaliser. There's Kutovski over on that far side. Borussia Dortmund, it's going to be some match next Saturday when they play Eintracht Frankfurt, the top 2 in opposition. Interesting to see which side can wrestle the initiative in this second half. Dortmund certainly can't afford to play for just the 1 point, Don.
No, they can't. Obviously, when you get to this stage in the season, those last kind of, how can I put it, 10 matches, 6 matches, everyone's important. But that one next week, obviously, has got something special about it. And like you say here tonight, they need the points, they need 2 points, they need to keep close to the leaders.
Cut out by Armin Eck. For Hamburg in their, well, by now quite perilous position towards the bottom. A point might be reasonably useful, I guess, against Borussia Dortmund. Certainly put an end to their losing run of late. That's a good turn and cross from Poulsen. And then the shot coming in from Frank. Still pressure from Dortmund. Chapuisat towards the far post, but the flag's gone up. And that's going to be a free kick for Hamburg.
They don't hesitate to get those crosses in. If Flemming Poulsen or Chapuisat gets down the flanks, a little twist and a turn, and it's going into the box. They're a terrific example in getting important balls and effective balls into the box. Obviously, most of it is crosses.
Spurl did well there to find the Brazilian Nando. We haven't seen much of him so far. Now Vertok. I could do with a bit more support up there. Vertok does very well. Wicked cross. Halma cutting it out on the near post and needed to.
Well, that's right. I mean, we talk about the English game, and obviously crossing is one of our main ways of getting goals. But here in Germany, you can see just the same. I mean, they don't hesitate to whip those balls in and get them across the face of the goal.
Really was a lovely cross, the way he just whipped that in very, very fast. Ex-corner. And Dortmund don't really win it in the air. It goes towards this far side, and Schnorr, the substitute, did that stay in play? Referee says it does. Boda was looking for something spectacular. Spurl looking for the 1-2 on the edge of the box. Dortmund crowding them out. Dortmund having to work for it tonight, all right. Flemming Poulsen again, the man who's been capped over 40 times by Denmark. Frank, the 20-year-old. And now Hamburg, with Dortmund having quite a few men pushed forward, can counter-attack. Nando, Vars is making an interesting run. And the return ball from Vertok. Nando is saying he was pushed and fouled in there.
He was checked in on his 1-2. He brought the ball forward, he picked it up in deep, and as he plays and goes there, he gets checked. Watch the defender go across him and push him out so he can't get on the return ball.
Yes, it was a very, very obvious foul from Helmer, and it will be a free kick here to Hamburg in quite a dangerous central position just outside the penalty area. Might be things happening for them here. Harold Spurl hovering it over the ball. He's the number 7. Also there is Eck, number 10, and Schnorr, number 12. Now, what are they going to try here? Good view there. And you're kind of seeing the kind of problems that Eck, who looks to be lining it up for the left foot, is having. There it is, and there is Eck, but he doesn't really get it right. He'll be disappointed about that. But Hamburg still have it. Roda, the sweeper, coming forward, bouncing around there very dangerously, and the shot coming in from Eck again, this time with his right foot, and took a deflection to go for the corner.
They're having to go in. You know, I think they can sense they can get ahead. They're getting numbers in the box. I mean, they're getting 4s and 5s in the box to get on the end of these crosses.
The shock result is by no means out of the question, the way Hamburg are playing here. And Dortmund being pushed. Kloss has not won that one. Defenders get in each other's way. And this is as uncomfortable a little spell as Dortmund have had. And look at that effort. Just tipped over the bar. The shot was from Vars.
He's been very instrumental in most of Hamburg's play. And this is a cracking shot. Just dipping down under the bar, but the goalkeeper does well, times his jump right and gets it flicked over the top of the bar.
And there comes the corner kick. It comes out, and that's a disappointing effort from Spurl. It's just going back to Vars. Before tonight, he was the only person to have scored for Hamburg since the 11th of December.
Well, I can see he gets forward well. He made the first goal. He got the cross in for Jan Vertong's goal. He's very effective all the time. He's on the ball all the time. And that was a super shot.
That was that corner a minute or so back, which started all the problems, which ended with Vaas's shot.
It's the defenders that are mailing the goalkeeper's way rather than forwards.
Here's Frank coming forward from the midfield. Poulsen, who's been much involved, has got through a lot of work up there tonight. Reinhardt into Poulsen again, and then Poschner trying to find a way through onto his left foot. Chapuisat, and then Frank, not far away.
It's great stuff, isn't it? I mean, he's going box to box. I mean, for the last kind of 5 minutes, we've been down at the Dortmund end, and they've been under pressure. Then all of a sudden, back up this end, and there's numbers up there as well. Never really hit the shot right. Hit it into the deck.
And once more, you get the personality shot of the coach on the sidelines. They do love that in Germany, as Don was saying earlier on. Helmer there reading it well. And this is better now from Dortmund. They've got men moving off it as well as Lush comes through. Poulsen. Helmer once again. Out here to Knut Reinhardt. Looks up, tries to measure something, doesn't get it right. But Dortmund still have it. Both of these sides here wanting to go for maximum points. No question of either of them wanting the draw, and that makes for good, entertaining football. Here's Nando, the Brazilian. And he's forced Spurl far too wide. Indeed, he can't keep it in play, and that was really a wretched pass in the circumstances.
Yes, he was, because they again, they got the ball in and around the Dortmund box. Just the ball to the right flank was just a little bit offline.
Fans making a lot of noise around this Volkspark Stadion, and quite a few of them have travelled from Dortmund to be here, quite a long journey, and that is definitely a free kick. The foul was from Mateschik, the number 6, and he's booked for it. It was a very, very deliberate piece of holding, I think, as this replay will
He was
reveal.
never going to catch him, was he? I mean, he was never going to catch Poulsen, and he just grabbed all of his left arm and hand and pulled him back.
Well, there's a place for him on those wrestling shows, isn't there?
Yep. Well, I mean, both sides are getting players forward, and obviously there's big gaps now in midfield, and anybody who's good at running with the ball, they can motivate, they can virtually carry it 50 yards.
Now then, free kick to Borussia Dortmund. Lush, well away by that Hamburg defence, and by Roda in particular. Here's Frank, fully 40 yards out. Ambitious, but not a bad effort, really, from that kind of range.
Well, like I said before, it's a part of German football, this long shooting. And I mean, I don't know how far he was out there, but I would think it's in the region of about 35, 40 yards. But they'd pushed out the Hamburg defence, so the goalkeeper had no problems.
Taken quickly, and a mistake by Kutovski allows Vertong to regain possession. Good turn from him, and wins the corner kick, which Arminek trots over to take. Hamburg pushing a few men in there. The Brazilian Nando, who hasn't scored, by the way, since August the 14th, which is an awful record for a striker. Only 2 all season, in fact. But out it comes again. Schnorr. Cross coming in and headed away. Those yellow shirts having to mass back in numbers. Now Eck again. I've seen him whack one with the left foot this season. Rising drive from there into the far corner against his old club Bayern Munich to give Hamburg a great win.
Correct. I mean, there when he picked it up, I think his first instinct was to get a shot. He got blocked off, then he tried to dribble it out towards the left wing.
Hamburg with the long throw that doesn't work for them, and on the break here comes Lush, the workhorse in the middle of the field. Poschner. Out here to Reinhardt, who always seems to have a bit of space down the left-hand channel. Dispossessed this time, and he fouled Spörl as well. Still, Hamburg 1, Borussia Dortmund 1. Egon Corders, the coach, must be quite pleased with the way his Hamburg side are responding to him here in what is the coach's first home match since he took charge a fortnight or so ago.
He'd be very pleased seeing his team play with this spirit and this type of fitness, because it is going end to end all the time.
He really has changed everything at Hamburg, even the numbers the players wear, which makes life pretty complicated for commentators. That's his opposite number, Ottmar Hitzfeld, who took Grasshoppers Zurich to the Swiss title before coming to Dortmund. Keeps trying to pour cold water on all those who are saying Borussia Dortmund are going to be champions, but I don't think he's fooling anybody. They're right up there now to be shot at. And the pressure is certainly on these players now as we come into the run-in. How they stand up to it will be very interesting. That's not a very good ball from Helmer.
Ian, I think it's going to go right up perhaps to the last 1 or 2 matches of the season. I mean, we've got 2 outstanding teams out at the top of this German Bundesliga. I mean, Eintracht Frankfurt are a super side to watch, plays lovely football, some outstanding individual players, and the same with Dortmund.
Incidentally, this weekend, Eintracht Frankfurt, who are level on points with Borussia Dortmund at the top, they play Bayern Munich at home. That's tomorrow. Poschner with the quick free kick to Lusch. He's done as well as anybody tonight, and this is dropping in there very, very dangerously. Just a hint of a little half chance on there. Potowski knocking this forward for Poulsen. Reinhardt. Quite content to play it backwards to try and change the angle. Zorc. As you say, Don, they do like to try their luck from quite a long way out.
What they do is they get into crossing positions, and if they get blocked and they can't get the cross in, they pull it back to a player which we call the point man. He's a midfield player who sits kind of 15 yards outside the box. And his role really is to, one of 2 things, either change the plane to the opposite side or go in and get a shot or get a 1-2 in to get into the box.
Do you think they practice long-range shooting far more than, say, your average English side would?
I think so, yes.
Here's Poulsen. Maybe he's got the chance to do exactly that. Takes it across. Chapuisat was in there, and just before it could drop to that dreaded left foot, Mateschik got it away, and just as well he did. Here's Chapuisat, the Swiss international. So disappointed that Switzerland didn't make the European Championships. That would have been another good showcase for his talent. He's still got it here. Look at this run.
That was a powerful run. I mean, he must have got checked and blocked and pulled and pushed all the way across, and he held on to that ball.
And now Hitzfeld is having a dialogue with the referee about what I couldn't tell you. There are the massed ranks of Borussia Dortmund fans. They are one of the best supported clubs in the Bundesliga, getting 40, sometimes even 50,000 at home. They had 52,000 for Kaiserslautern at home last week, Dortmund. Helmer. We'll get the views of Tony Woodcock in just a moment on how things are going in this second half. Just watch this Borussia Dortmund attack. Poschner, the man who's taken over from Rummenigge, that's gone out of play. Gives me a chance to bring in Tony Woodcock. How are you seeing things at the moment, Tony?
I'm quite enjoying it. It's a good game at the moment. What's important, both teams are definitely wanting to win. Hamburg are putting a lot of pressure on Dortmund, but as we've seen Dortmund in the past, that they're extremely dangerous on the counter-attack, and it's opening up to be a very good game. There's been a lot of talk in Europe at the moment about changing the rules about football, but if we can see tonight, if the attitude is right with both teams, then we can forget the new rules, because there's nothing wrong with this at all.
Hear to that. So you do sometimes wonder when you watch the way, say, Argentina played at the World Cup. But that's a whole new debate, which I'm not going to go into here.
Well, you're right here, and yet the Argentinians put it back in the last Copa America, the South American Championship. Argentina won it, and they play with a completely different style. It was lovely open football with a lot of skill in it. They've got to grips with what it's all about.
Meanwhile here, the break down the right-hand side is from Zorc. Arminek giving his views on developments to the referee. Well, Hamburg have got the free kick, so I'm not exactly certain what Arminek's point is.
Ian, whatever you say about football, it's about players. You know, it's players' attitudes and players' confidence to go out there and express themselves. You know, I mean, we all get criticised, all the coaches get criticised for playing this football or that football. If you've got players who can play and they're very, very fit and they can run off the ball and they can be on the ball, you know, like Shapyazar and Poulsen and Furtok, I mean, they entertain a game.
Here's Michael Rummenigge, who's sidelined tonight by the hamstring injury, one of the players who can't entertain this evening, but the word is he should be back for that key game with Eintracht Frankfurt next week. And some whistles coming from the Hamburg fans. Now, we're just watching the way Dortmund are playing things around at the back and taking their time and thinking maybe that they're just playing for the point, but that could be far from the truth because Poulsen's in here, and Hamburg were a bit sleepy at the back. Poulsen did ever so well then to get that back, and lucky really for Hamburg that there wasn't a Shapyazar hanging around to put it in.
Schultz dropped a lovely forward ball in there to the back of the Hamburg defence, and Poulsen was unlucky. He gets checked here by the defender, chases after it, and here again, back across the goal as quick as he can.
Yes, anything could have happened there, but luckily it was Mateschik who was there to get it away for Hamburg. Dortmund just raising the pace a little bit, starting to ask some more questions. Poulsen does well to hold this up. And here's Reinhardt. Hamburg for the moment having to do some defending. Lush. Picked up by Nando, the Brazilian. Here's Nando again. And dispossessed. They've been a little bit disappointing, the Hamburg fans, with the contribution that Nando's made since he signed for them 3 years ago. And in truth, he hasn't really given Furtok enough support up there tonight.
No. The Brazilians like the ball to feet, Ian. You know, they like the little 1-2s around the box, and they like to do their little tricks on the ball to feet. They don't like running off the ball as much.
Helmer.
And this game's about running off the ball. The fitness level in this game is absolutely superb.
And the result very much still in doubt. 1-1 here, and Bode showing far too much of it to Poulsen, but he gets away with it. It's the kind of mistake that in the past defenders have paid for. And Barr, the goalkeeper, saying, come on, let's get forward, let's start playing in their half. Oh, absolutely given away. And Dortmund, what are they going to do with it this time? Lush is brought down. He's had a good game tonight.
Yes, he's played very well. He's attacked mainly down the right side, but he'll come inside and come across with the ball.
Hamburg looking to make a substitution. That's Detlef Dameyer, midfield player. And I wonder if they might bring off Eck, who has been troubled by that back injury during the week. Poschner with the free kick, not what he would have hoped for at all. Must have miscued that somehow. Furtok. And the Poles got some pace. And this is a good break here. Nando's in there as well, and so is Vars. Here is Vars with the throw. Bass, who is trying to convince Hamburg that they should pay the money to Bologna to make his move permanent. And they might do that the way he's been playing. He was voted the star player for them last week at Bayern Munich by Kicker magazine. And he's had another pretty useful game here tonight too. Well read by Helmer, and it's given Borussia Dortmund possession again. Now here's Reinhardt making the break down this left-hand side. Chapuisat and Poulsen are both up there. Reinhardt goes for glory himself.
Tell you what, I wouldn't like to put up any money on a winner here. I mean, both sides are really bombing at each other. They're keeping the pace of the game up. People are getting forward. They're trying to get crosses across the face of the goal.
And that's a cross from Reinhardt. Away by Böder it was, and Schnur completing the clearance.
I mean, both sets of strikers, I mean, they're not only working when their team get the ball, but as soon as their team lose the ball, they're closing defenders down. Terrific example of German football, this one.
Hamburg certainly need the points. They can't afford to lose their first division status in the Bundesliga because they've got financial problems. As things are, a lot of the fans have been asking, well, we sold Thomas Doll to Lazio for £4 million. What's happened to all that money? And nobody really seems to have the answer. Fertok, meanwhile, is complaining there bitterly to the referee. Doesn't matter because Hamburg have the ball again. Are they going to snatch a dramatic late winner to end Borussia Dortmund's long 6-month unbeaten run here? It's been a spirited performance from Hamburg, and I think reflecting on it, if it does end up a draw without having played for it, Dortmund might not be too disappointed.
I don't think so. Yeah, he's just, as he's kind of fell over, or he's put his hand down there to block the pass away. They had to give a foul there. Yeah, I agree. I mean, Dortmund, they give it all they can give it. But Hamburg have matched them in every part of the game. Hamburg have got the ball forward quickly. They've got numbers forward with it.
Well, Dortmund at the moment, and we're now at the stage where the referee is starting to take the first glances at his watch. Quite happy to play things around among themselves at the back and eat up time, and their mentality does seem to be, we'll settle for the draw, we'll get back on the coach with a point, that'll be fine. And that really is a measure of how well Hamburg have pushed them tonight. Dortmund here retaining possession, Liverpool style at the back. Eating up the seconds. On my watch, there are 5 minutes remaining here, so still time for somebody to come up with the sting. They still can't get this substitute on, Don.
Yeah, the coach keeps shouting to one of the players.
Long last, and he's been waiting there for a good 7 minutes, I reckon, Detlef Dameyer, and it's Nando, the Brazilian, who comes off. And still he can't break that sequence of no goals since last August.
It'll take him a while to come to terms with German football. The pace it's played at, they're running off the ball more, and getting on the end of crosses.
Mateschik did well policing Chapuisat that time, and this is Spurl. Schnur trying to get Armin Ekin, and back to the safety of goalkeeper Klose.
So that's a typical example there we just saw in of the attitude towards this game the players are putting in. Chapuisat got the ball, he had it taken off him, the defender got away, and he virtually chased him back to the halfway line. And we are in the last few seconds of the game.
Well, Dortmund are making their intentions absolutely crystal clear here. And Hamburg are not doing too much at the moment to get the ball off them. I don't know, we seem to have an impasse here really now, don't we?
Yeah, it's like you just said. I think that Dortmund have had the signals from the bench, what the time is. And it's been a tough game.
But maybe something now. If the chance presents itself still, Dortmund will quite happily take it. And they do have a corner kick. And Chapuisat trots over to take it. They've been without the midfield inspiration of Rummenigge tonight. I think, in truth, especially in the second half, they just haven't missed his touches once or twice. It's nodded on, though, and Schultz got that back header in, and it's not away yet. Helmer. And now there's been a whistle for an infringement, but almost there. Dortmund, even though they appeared to be hanging around and playing for the point, they nearly snatched it. It was the back header on the near post from Schultz, the man who used to be a policeman for 7 years, and now he's not a bad footballer.
Yeah, well, he was moving around, in and around the goalkeeper, and he went out to meet the corner. I think he got a touch. The goalkeeper was in trouble. That could have sealed the game, that one.
Hamburg, though, survive. Paulsen back to Chapuisat. Can Chapuisat come up with his 16th goal of the season? They're crowding round him like a pack of wolves every time he gets the ball. They're scared to death of him, those defenders, you know. Looks like that anyway, doesn't he, Don?
He's a very clever player. I mean, he's got the ability to run with the ball. He gets his head up while he's running with the ball. He gets his pass away if players are in a better position.
And Schultz and Helmer decide they'll go into reverse gear with the ball. And then they'll give it over to Butovski. We'll just take a look at the maker's name to make sure it's still there for a few seconds.
Sometimes, you know, the good teams do break up the pace of a game. If the game is going flat out and flat out and flat out and we're getting nowhere fast, sometimes to slow things down, although the crowd don't like it, and then quicken things up, sometimes people's players, defenders' concentration goes in this flat period.
Confirmation of the score and scorers, and with the rather negative attitudes that seem to be out there just at the moment, it will be a massive surprise if that list of scorers is added to. Not long to go. Keeper having to come out and puts the brakes on well to stop himself venturing outside the area. Don't go away if you're watching us on Sky Sports with the Bundesliga tonight. Remember, we've got World Cup cricket coming up. Injury time. Free kick for Hamburg. Hartmann was the man brought down. Man who was signed in the summer from Stuttgart.
You know, crowds are no different all over the world. I mean, the players have got to go flat out for 90 minutes. If they slow things down, the crowd start booing, jeering.
Hamburg now, Dortmund with an awful lot of men back, including Frank, who gets in a boot. And the final whistle goes. Borussia Dortmund taking the lead with a goal from Stefan Chapuisat, but pulled back 7 minutes later in the first half. Jan Vertok with his first goal for 10 games. Hamburg 1, Dortmund 1. It's a point for Dortmund tonight, and quite clearly they were happy with that. But I wonder if they'll be so happy tomorrow if Eintracht Frankfurt beat Bayern Munich. From the Volksstadion, good night.